मिनट रुक जाओ. वो 2 मिनट उस बच्चे के बहुत ही अहम 2 मिनट होते हैं, which is only 2 minutes for you to check, remain on your device. But if you take out that 2 minutes and spend time with that child, what are you doing? You're mindfully making a choice.
Can you imagine the energy that is surrounding our show today, especially when two podcasters are together? Hello and welcome to Rashi Foundation. The freedom we both have today. Just imagine welcoming Monisha Mitra, a life coach who has conducted 50 live webinars with many attendees, an expert who addresses issues like stress, anxiety, worry, pressure, definitely provides solutions, and all these small yet life-taking issues. बातें बहुत ही छोटी हैं, लेकिन ये समझने में जब आओ तो बहुत ही कठिन लगती है. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है.
Thank you so much.
Okay, to start with, Monisha, please tell us about brand Monisha Mitra. What has inspired your journey as a mindfulness coach? Also, your journey and experience as a podcaster. Over to you.
Monisha Mitra, the brand is a very interesting brand. Half the time, people who know me personally think I'm a badmash and a gundi. Okay, which is probably true. I have always been somebody who is who likes to be happy. Okay, I've had a difficult life with 2 marriages, 2 children. One was a marriage which was an abusive one, which I got out of at a very early age. I was married at the age of 19. सपने टूटते देखा है मैंने, and then I got into advertising. 25 साल advertising में गुजारे. And then what happened is I developed a very bad habit, which I talk about because a lot of people don't understand it. I was suffering from alcoholism. And 7 years ago, I quit. And when I quit, clarity आ गई एक. धीरे धीरे, overnight नहीं हुआ, लेकिन एक clarity आ गई. And as clarity started happening, I started realizing कि मेरे choices ने मेरे life को affect किया था. तो हम लोग हमेशा दूसरों को blame करते हैं. We always blame other people and say, oh, because of this one, because they did this happened. उन्होंने ऐसे कहा, इसलिए मैंने ऐसे react किया. And I learned over a period of time कि my actions had caused my life to take the turns that they did. Okay, so if I changed my actions, I would change what would happen. And which is how I gravitated towards mindful living. Then I got my certification when I realized, because in advertising, you deal with people. You're not selling a product. And one of the funniest things is that I still have relationships with people when I first started advertising 30 years ago. Okay, I'm still in touch with those people. I'm in touch with college friends, school friends, and I have good equations because I could connect with people on any level. So whether it was over comics, about a holiday, about a child's study, about anything, I could talk about varied subjects. तो relationship building बहुत important होती है life coaching में, जब आप किसी के साथ rapport build कर रहे हो. तो which is how I went into life coaching and mindfulness. So I still have the gunda and the badmash back end pay. Sometimes wo life coaching mein nikal aata hai when I'm, especially when somebody is going through a very difficult time, how do you make them feel better? One is to empathize, one is to say, I understand. Clients ke saath, of course, story different hoti hai, aapka equation unke saath different hota hai. But this is my story of how I got into mindfulness, and it's very interesting because जो भी मैं सिखाती हूँ, and I've been a trainer for about 10 years. So I teach things like communication skills. I've taught personality development. Even in that, I used to bring relationship building, communication with family. And as long as अगर 40 लोगों में से 10 लोग भी एक लर्निंग लेके घर जाके कुछ चेंज कर देते हैं, मेरे लिए वो सक्सेस है. That's successful for me. That is what success is spelled when people sort of take away something that is important that can alter their life. I'm not a self-proclaimed guru. I am just somebody, just like anybody else, a person who is living my life, okay, in a mindful way, क्योंकि मैंने गलतियां करी, मैंने गलतियों से सीखा और मैंने गलतियों को सुधारा. Okay, so you because evolution ही is what's important for a human being, कि आप point A से point B कैसे पहुंचते हैं. तो मैं क्या कर, मेरा मिशन बहुत सिंपल है. It's to alter the lives of 100,000 people. Okay, help them find their true purpose, because my purpose is to help other people. That's my goal, and I love doing it. It gives me a sense of joy and happiness.
Absolutely beautiful. अपनी सच्चाई, अपनी स्टोरी, अपनी सच्चाई से सुनाना, यही हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म की खासियत है. Okay, Monisha, what in your opinion is the strongest way to grow one's mindset?
Okay, so the one thing that I say, that how do you change your mindset or grow your mindset, is to take responsibility and accountability for your actions. Okay, the minute you, अगर कोई किसी सिचुएशन में, अभी हर इंसान के साथ होता है कोई सिचुएशन जहां पे आर्ग्यूमेंट होती है, एंड यू से समथिंग एंड दे से समथिंग, और वो तू मैं हो जाता है, क्योंकि हम लोग रिएक्टिव होते हैं बाय नेचर. हम लोग के इमोशंस कम इनटू प्ले. But when you understand the fact कि I have to take a pause, okay, I have to take responsibility for what I say. I am not responsible for another person. Okay, I am responsible only for myself. Okay, I don't control. Like I give people this example कि if you have had a pet, if you have a pet, try feeding your pet. हम लोग तो बच्चों को फिर भी 2 थप्पड़ मार के खाना खिला देते हैं. You can't do that with a pet. Okay, try feeding a pet. That is your level of control. It is nothing. The only thing you control is what is within your circumference. Okay, so for example, for me, in where my alcoholism comes into play, is that I actually uh, took responsibility for the fact that I could say, blame it on other people for the longest time. I said, उन्होंने ऐसा किया इसलिए मैं दुखी हो गई. Oh, I'm so sad, I need a drink. Oh, I'm celebrating, I need a drink. Till I realized that actually it was my daughter who said it to me, that, she wasn't very happy. Obviously, my family wasn't happy. And when I decided to quit, I realized that the power lay in my hands. Okay, it was in my choices, my decision, my responsibility, my accountability. Chahe duniya kuch bhi bole, okay, no matter what happened, if somebody said something which wasn't very nice, was not an excuse for me to go get that drink. If I had a bad day at work, was not an excuse for me to go get that drink. Or if I had a difficult conversation with somebody, that was not going to be, the alcohol was not going to be the solution. Just like people take medication, or they drink, or they smoke, or they do any of those things, that is a choice you are making. So it's all about the choice you make. Now, if you want to change your mindset, you need to change your choices.
And this is so true how Monisha has just put it across to us. अगर आप अपने actions के लिए खुद accountable नहीं होंगे, तो आप receptive भी नहीं होंगे. And this is what she's trying to say. This is totally beautiful. Okay, so Monisha ji, what are the few mindset building skills आपको लगता है? क्योंकि yes तो सब कर देते हैं, लेकिन जब वो काम करने पे बात आती है अपने ऊपर, तो हर कोई पीछे हट जाता है. So let's hear कि कौन से वो ऐसे skills हैं जो आप सिखाते हो सबको, उनके skills को polish करते हो, जिससे वो mindful और खुश हो पाते हैं.
So I have this program which I have created called the Anxiety Management System, which is a 3-day workshop. In this workshop, I talk about intention, I talk about clarity. Now, these are just words, okay? Till you actually go down to implementing them. How do you implement them? It's very simple, okay? I set an intention and I say ki boss, for example, okay, हम लोग हर साल, every year when the year ends and the year begins, there are these big resolutions we make. Okay, I will join the gym. I will lose 10 kgs. I will stop eating sweet. I will eat 1 gulab jamun instead of 2 or 4. Okay, I will not do this. I will not do this. I will quit smoking. And how many of that actually happens? By the second week of January, we are back to square one. And that is because plan hai, intention nahi hai. Okay. you know, for example, in my sessions, when we talk about intention, we talk about anxiety. What are the things that influence anxiety? What are the things that make a person anxious? आपकी दो चीजें हैं very clearly. One is the worry about the past, जो हो चुका है, ठीक है, जिसके बारे में हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, ओके, एंड अ फ्यूचर जो हमने देखा नहीं है. तो both are ideas. Think about it. One is the past, which is over. One is the future, which hasn't come. Both are concepts and ideas. The only thing you have is the present moment. So how do you become still in the present moment? So one is teaching intention, clarity, grounding techniques. Like when you feel anxious, what are the things you can do? Okay, when you feel stressed, what are the things you can do? Now, all of these things that I teach are actually things that I practice myself. Okay, so they're not books knowledge. This is actually knowledge which I implement for myself. For example, if I'll tell you to stand in a square, okay, that is your current situation, then I'll tell you to step out of that square. Okay, mentally, so you've closed your eyes, you're imagining a square. हम सबका imagination बहुत vivid होता है, ठीक है, और हमेशा, like I always say this, that you live your life in hindsight. So now the situation is over, but you are playing the conversation in your head, or you're playing the situation in your head, and you're thinking, अगर मैंने ऐसे बोला होता तो ऐसे होता, अगर मैंने ऐसे बोला होता तो वैसे होता. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम यह है कि आप कुछ भी करो, वो पास्ट तो प्रेजेंट में आने वाला नहीं है. What you can do is you can look at it without judgment. Okay, you look at the past and say, जो हो गया वो बात खत्म हो गई है. If I can do something about it today, for example, अगर हमने किसी का दिल दुखाया हो पास्ट में, आप जाके उनको एक्चुअली सॉरी बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है. ये मत एक्सपेक्ट करो कि वो आपको फॉरगिव कर देंगे, वो मैनेजिंग द एक्सपेक्टेशंस में हो जाता है. ओके, सो दैट इज द सेकंड एस्पेक्ट. is one is you're setting your intention, two is living in your past or your future but not in the present, okay, and three is where you're managing your expectations from other people. I'll give you a classic example. As parents, we are always on the phone. We are always on the phone. Let's just admit it. हम लोग कोई भी बोल सकता है कि no, I don't live on my phone. But the truth is, emails है, WhatsApp messages है, SMSs है, वो बॉस का ये है, कोई Facebook पे story है, कोई Instagram पे reel है which you have to like, and your child comes to you. Your child is 5, 6, 7 years old. And they say, Papa, 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 Mama, Mama, Mama. And what is the first thing you say? Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. रुक जाओ, 2 मिनट रुक जाओ. वो 2 मिनट उस बच्चे के बहुत ही अहम 2 मिनट होते हैं, which is only 2 minutes for you to check, remain on your device. But if you take out that 2 minutes and spend time with that child, what are you doing? You're mindfully making a choice of being a parent versus being on a device. Now, these are the kind of choices that one learns to make in mindfulness because you become aware. So you're constantly, you live in moment to moment to moment to moment awareness.
बिल्कुल सच्ची बात है. अनुभव ही आपका सच्चा ज्ञान है. अदरवाइज ज्ञान बोलने की तो आई थिंक सभी को आदत है, पर जिसने अनुभव किया होगा वही आपको करेक्ट वे से सिखा भी पाएगा. एंड दिस इज व्हाट शी इज ट्राइंग टू से, एंड दिस इज टोटली वंडरफुल. मोनिशा जी, आपको क्या लगता है ऐसी कौन सी ट्रेट्स है हमारे अंदर जो हमारी लाइफ में माइंडफुल होने से हमें रोक रहे हैं? What are the hampers?
So there are a couple of myths that people have. Okay, certain thought processes. Like for example, एक myth है कि mindfulness is Buddhism. Okay, now Buddhism is not technically a religion; it's a way of life. Okay, just like Hinduism is a way of life. Buddhism के eightfold path में एक path है right mindfulness, which is if you live in the current moment, then you are not living in the past and you're not living in the future. You're making the most of what you have right now. The second myth is that mindfulness is meditation. Okay, meditation is one way of living a mindful life, but you can do the same mindful thing. जैसे हम खाना बनाते हैं, okay, आप खाना बनाते वक्त कितना मसाले डालते हो, कितना नमक डाल रहे हो, कितना जीरा डाल रहे हो. At that point of time, you're completely engrossed in it. आपके सारे senses, आपकी eyes, आपके ears, आप आवाज सुन रहे हो, वो कुछ फ्राई हो रहा है, प्याज फ्राई हो रहा है, जीरे का तड़के का आवाज आ रहा है, all your five senses are involved in cooking, and that is also mindfulness. जब आप gardening करते हो, okay, when you're खोदोing the mitti, you're checking the khad, you're putting khad, you're pruning your flowers, whether you're walking, even when you're walking, you are focused on your walking, how many steps you're doing, your breath, okay, what is your pulse, what is your cardio saying. All this is parts of mindfulness. Now what stops people from doing mindfulness is that एक तो बोलते हैं हमारे पास टाइम नहीं. Okay, so that's the classic example. Two is they say कि अरे नहीं नहीं हमें बोर हो जाऊंगा. And when you have these two things come into play, then you know कि a person is not interested. अभी जैसे मेरा webinar होता है, I have at any given point of time 150 sign-ups. Okay, and 20 लोग 20 people show up. Okay, what does that prove? Out of the 150, सबके intention है. Okay, so the intent is there, but to see it through.
And this is so nice that you said it in a very, very straightforward manner. कि हम खुद ही नहीं चाहते हैं कि हम खुद बदले. And this is totally wonderful. Okay, Monisha ji, what do you think is the success mantra? And why do you think that this is the success mantra, being mindful? Let's hear that.
So my success mantra is simple. It's what I apply to my own life. It is, this too shall pass. Just like रात के बाद दिन होती है. Okay, दिन के बाद शाम होती है. Like that, life is cyclic. Okay, and the only way to accept the fact that this can work for you or not work for you is to keep an open mind. Okay, is to say ये सब ज्ञानी बातें सब लोग शेयर करेंगे, memes शेयर करेंगे, quotes शेयर करेंगे, लेकिन to actually implement it in your own life, you have to keep an open mind. Okay, I'm not saying keep an open brain, नहीं तो दिमाग will fall out, but keep an open mind to learning, to creating a better life, better quality life for yourself. Not because I am saying it, not because Gautam Buddha said it, but do it because it actually works. In fact, there is scientific proof, evidence that the structure of your brain, and it's called neuroplasticity, the structure of your brain changes with meditation and with mindful living. I think that itself is important enough. अगर आप body gym में जाके अपनी body बना सकते हो, and you want flat abs and you want bulked muscles, then how about bulking up the mind also? You know, basically strengthening your mind. Because at the end of the day, जिस तरह the way you show up for yourself is the way you will show up for the world. So if you come across as somebody who's very, very sorted, then you will attract more people towards you. कोई टेंशन में रहेगा, कौन उसके पास जाना चाहता है? हम खुद, I mean, we have this habit of avoiding people who are unhappy. We always gravitate towards people who are happier, right?
And we so believe and trust her when she says this. Okay, Monisha ji, you know that COVID has been around and it has created a havoc around the world. What different workshops are you offering apart from your webinars, which you think can transform mindset, especially in these kinds of crises?
I have Thursday and Saturday. I have these hangouts which happen on Google, which are called Tea and Conversations. The idea behind that is to get people to talk. Okay, it's always easier to talk to people you don't know. क्योंकि जब हम when we talk to people we know, वो उनके अपने subjective points of view आ जाते हैं. लेकिन when we talk to people who we don't know, it's easier to talk to them. You know how it's easier to talk to a stranger. Just like that. So the idea is to talk about anything that women want to talk about or men want to talk about. Any topic that if they feel that there is something on their mind, they're looking for solutions. I have Tea and Conversations, which is aimed at that. I actually have a cup of tea in my hand when I'm doing it because I love my chai. And then I have these Sunday webinars, okay, which happen again on Google Hangouts, which is between 11 and 12, where you can register, you can go onto my page and register, or you can, message me and I can send you the link if you so wish to attend it, where I talk about anxiety. While the format remains the same, where I'm talking about anxiety and stress management, my content that every presentation keeps changing because every time I'm constantly reading. Okay, and I keep upping my skills. So I keep adding value in terms of what new I have learned, what new I'm implementing. I sort of bring into my sessions. Jaise one of the solutions I give people is to journal. कि एक जर्नल क्रिएट करो, डायरी राइटिंग शुरू कर लो, क्योंकि तुम अपने बेस्ट फ्रेंड हो. ओके, नोबडी नोज यू बेटर देन यू. ओके, हमारी माएँ वुड लाइक टू थिंक कि वो हमारे ऊपर एक्सपर्ट्स होती है, लेकिन ट्रूथ बी टोल्ड कि हमारे माओ को भी नहीं पता होता कि हम लोग क्या सोच रहे होते हैं. ठीक है, तो हम लोग जब जर्नल में लिखते हैं तो हम वी आर राइटिंग आवर डीपेस्ट डार्केस्ट थॉट्स बिकॉज वी आर बीइंग ट्रू टू आवरसेल्व्स. तो being authentic is very simple. So I have a journal which I actually share with people, and I say I have this journal which I share. I this is the book I'm reading, this is what I'm learning, and this is what I'm implementing, and I advise people to do it because I'm seeing the benefit.
Okay, so Monisha, tell us about your journey as a podcast, and we believe that you're on Spotify as well. So let's hear.
So I have been podcasting for about 2 years now, but I wasn't regular because the kind of content that I needed to create needed a lot of research, okay, and a lot of thinking. तो हर टाइम वही चीज बोल बोल के मैं खुद थक जाती, तो लोग सुन के तो और पक जाते. So I have to create interesting content. अभी जैसे on my podcast, so you can find me as Monisha Mitra life coach. You can find me on Spotify and 12 other different channels, and you can search for me as Monisha Mitra life coach. It's very simple. It's not very complicated. Listen to what I have to say. My podcasts are not very long because कंटेंट कभी कभार इतना हेवी हो जाता है कि उसको डाइजेस्ट करना लोगों को स्मॉल डोसेस में ही बेटर होता है. जैसे सबसे गंदी पिल अगर छोटी छोटी टैबलेट में हो तो सॉलो करना आसान होता है, अगर मैं मोटा टैबलेट दे दूंगी तो उसको शायद चूरा करके सॉलो करना पड़ेगा. सो द आइडिया इज बिकॉज द कॉन्वर्सेशंस कैन गेट अ लिटिल हेवी a lot of times. So I also have a YouTube channel, okay, which is also Monisha Mitra life coach. Like it's not the same content. The content is derived from my own life, okay, and my own learnings. So they should be easily relatable, okay, because मजा तब आता है जब किसी की कहानी हो, and it's not gossip, it is what can I learn from your mistakes. So like I tell people, if I can't be a good role model, let me be a bad example. So you learn more.
So as quoted by a super talented podcaster and a coach, Monisha Mitra, this moment here now is the critical time because the next moment has a million possibilities. Get in touch with her, attend her sessions, have tea with her on the Zoom, enjoy talking to her because I enjoyed. And so I would recommend her and all my audience that get in touch with her. Her details are available on the feed. Her email is there. You can write to her and talk to her.